Hi. Okay, so we're gonna get started. My name is Shakila Taylor, and I am a journalism student here at Michigan State University. I am currently here today interviewing with AuJanee Billy, who is a previous direct care worker and a full-time college student. So this interview today is going to be a part of a series of interviews that we are doing to just get the stories of some direct care workers, their values, the impact of the shortage of direct care workers, and also possible things that could be done to address the shortage, just in your perspective overall. Are you ready to get started?
Yes.
Okay. So the first question I have for you is to just tell me a little bit about your history as a direct care worker. What's your story? Where did you work? Basic things.
Okay, so my first time working, I actually worked for company called BrightStar Care. The company so for example, a family hired the company and I go to their house and take care of them one on one. So it's just me and a client. I feed them, bathe them, clean up their house, take them shopping, whatever they like me to do. And I've been doing that for about, well, not anymore, but before then I was doing that about 3 years.
Okay. So when did you first get into direct care work?
I believe it was 2019.
Okay. And you said you've been doing it for about 3 years. So overall, what draws you to this type of work? Like, where's your heart in it? Where's your passion about it?
So really knowing that sometimes people families is too busy to take care of them, and then two, just really caring for the patients, not treating them as kids, but caring for them as if they're your own children, and giving them the love and compassion that their family don't have time to give them. And so just spending a lot of time with them, taking care of them, and then to always know like they're older and they're very insecure about not being able to take care of themselves anymore. So they're very uncomfortable. So as long as you make them feel comfortable, which makes you feel comfortable, it makes your job easier.
Okay, so what do you like the least about your job? Or what did you like the least about your job?
The least I liked about my job was the pay, number one. And then number two, kind of like, so the older patients, a lot of them have like dementia and things like that. So they go back to like their childhood memories. And sometimes it was a lot when like slavery was going on and like a lot of negative comments. So sometimes it was a lot of racist comments that you just have to suck it up and deal with it because you just have to come from like, they don't mean that. They coming from a place of hurt and you just got to have tough skin. And
Okay. So on the opposite end of that, what was your favorite part about having that job?
playing games with them, taking them shopping, have like little talks or doing puzzles, knitting, things like that. And just small little conversation when they are feeling like their best, or them complimenting me on my food that I'm making them, how good I cleaned their house, how good I made them feel, things like that.
Good. Definitely that quality time is important. Okay, so what would you say the hardest thing about your job was? And if you can, just give me an account of a specific time that you remember.
Okay, so this was actually the last client I worked for. When I stepped into his home, he told me to leave because I was an African American. He didn't have a he had a reason why he didn't like African Americans. So I kind of had a conversation with him, talked to him, tried to understand what was the reason. Have someone ever hurt him, made him feel uncomfortable? And his reasoning was very, very basic, but it meant something strong to him. And the way I handled it, my job actually gave me $1 raise. But like I said, in this job field, like you have to have tough skin because if I didn't have that tough skin, I wouldn't have got that raise and I wouldn't have made myself or that client feel comfortable. And after that, he requested me every time. So that's one example.
So if you don't mind me asking, how much were you getting paid? What was the minimum pay that you were receiving?
Let's say the maximum was $10.65.
Wow. And do you feel that was anywhere near worth the work that you were putting in?
No. Yeah, so my hours were me being a full-time college student then as well, 12-hour shifts some days, and sometimes they mandate you, which is you automatically have to stay at that shift over the 12 hours that you have worked. So it's like you working all those 12 hours, having to clean up after them, having to wash them up, having to cook for them, literally taking care of them as they're your child and only getting paid $10. The pay is just not equal to the amount of work you have to do. That's why you really have to have a heart in that field.
Definitely. I can definitely see what you mean there. Do you have a favorite memory that you like to refer to?
Um, I have a few favorite memories. One of my clients, every time I went to her house, she always used to say, "Hey, sunflower," and always wanted to go to like a place called, what was that place called? Okay, well, I ain't gonna say that place, but we used to go to like McDonald's and get little meals and make her so happy. Like it made her so happy us just eating together, watching like Wheel of Fortune and things like that. And she teaching me how to knit. Like I miss her, and that was the best memory.
Let's see what else I have for you here. Okay, so what do you think are some important qualities for a person who is going into direct care work to have? Or just certain training prior to? What are some requirements that you think are needed?
So definitely training. Usually when you go to an agency, they're supposed to train you if you're not qualified or anything like that. So definitely training. You have to have patience. You have to know how to give love when it's not being like given to you. Um, you got to learn how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like sometimes when you go to their home and it's just you and them, you are a stranger to them and they're a stranger to you. So you have to make the environment like welcoming. You have to have a happy spirit. You can't go there miserable and down and showing that you don't want to be there. And you literally have to work hard. Like some families, they be like, I want you working. I don't want you sitting down. I want you. So it just depends on the families you go to. So you have to have tough skin, a loving heart. You have to want to do it and learn how to adjust. And of course, training.
And I'm not sure if you were working during times of COVID, were you?
Yes.
Okay, and how did COVID affect your experience as a direct care worker?
Well, with COVID, you can't really interact with them as much as you want to because, like, you got to make sure you have on your mask. It's very uncomfortable when you're washing somebody up with a mask, and then they're very scared. So they want you to have on triple masks because they don't want to get sick because they're so old. And then not only that, like, the hours they make you work, just unrealistic. Like you work so many hours a day. When COVID first started, I was working over 60 hours a week and the pay still was not rising. So just overworking, underpaid.
And that was in addition to you being a full-time college student, right?
Yep.
So how did you manage the two? How were you able to do that?
Well, some clients that I did the overnight shifts, I had one shift that was 7 to 7, so 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. When they sleep, I did all my duties, I did homework. So I was managing 3 hours of sleep every day to make sure I get my homework done and still go to work.
Right.
So yeah, no days off.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay, let's see. Would you like to say anything to like the policy or lawmakers in Lansing or DC as far as the laws around the people who do the job that you have done?
I would definitely say try to consider raising the pay because the fact that the pay is so low, that's why it's not as that's why it's not as many workers as there used to be.
Mm.
And also it's important to up the pay because you spend so much time one-on-one with these patients. And when you're at an agency, they don't go to the house with you. They don't call and see how it's going. They really don't care. So in order for their staff to care, they need to care.
Right.
So I would definitely say think about raising the pay to make people feel more appreciated,
Mhm. So can I,
even if you do random bonuses or anything.
right, little incentives matters.
Mhm.
Okay, so why did you specifically leave from being a direct care worker?
So I left because I became a CEO and I was making way more money and less hours. And like being in college, like you get tired, it get overwhelming. So once I thought of something and became a CEO, I always think about going back. My mom is a caregiver as well, so I go to her job sometimes and see the clients, but the pay is just it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
especially me being so young.
So other than pay, is there anything else you could think of that the industry could do to make this job more appealing to other people to possibly get the numbers of employees back up?
Um, I would definitely say pay because I feel like if the pay wasn't so bad, people wouldn't mind working as much as they do. So it's just like people be like, "Oh, I'm not getting paid. Like I'm not getting paid at all. So why do all of this work? I'm doing more labor and not getting the pay." So I feel like the pay is definitely leading people in the opposite direction of wanting to be a caregiver. That's why you really have to have a heart for it because if you have a heart for it, you kind of look past the pay. But
Right.
in today's world, no one's doing that no more, it seems like. You're still going to love the job. You're going to run into some amazing clients. So don't always think about the pay when going in. Like when I went in, I knew exactly what the pay was. I knew exactly what I had to do. But it's something I love to do. So if you love to do it, of course, like the pay will become a problem. But if they see you're working hard, like when they see how I handle my situation, they raised it with no problem. So they will work with you if you work with them. So if you have a heart for it, if you want to do it and it'll pay off.
So do you feel like you were well represented, whether that's by lawmakers or the people you were working for directly? Like, do you feel as though they had your back in situations that you needed to be had?
At times, yes. Most of the times they want you to deal with it on your own, but if it gets too serious, they will make a change. They will talk to the client. They will make you feel comfortable if you just can't take it no more. But most of the times they suggest that you handle it yourself.
Right. Okay, understood. Well, that's about all I have for you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for
Thank
meeting with me and continue to do the work that you're doing because it's amazing.
thank you. Hope you have a good day.
You too.